Okay, we are live. Hopefully everything is working. My stream step is a little bit scuffed because I've only got one monitor connected to the desktop, but this is something I've wanted to do for a while. Let me pull this. Not as good as it's going to get, all things considered. So, yeah, services for Unix. This is something I've wanted to play with for a while, and so let me unpause VirtualBox. I have it set to do an unintended install. So, yeah, also, I've lost a lot of subscribers over the last few days. Like, it's not all that surprising considering what I've been streaming. Apparently, streaming Greek upsets a lot of people that just watch my channel. I don't really know why. And then fit to screen. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a bit of a scuffed setup. I only have one screen, so I'm going to have to juggle Streamlabs and the VM window at the same time, which kind of sucks. Can I turn off the status bar? Yes, I can. Okay. I am recording this because there's a good chance that I turn the end result into a video. Hopefully this all works. Theoretically, question mark. Hopefully. So yeah, so right now it's just running through an unintended install because VirtualBox has that feature and it's kind of lovely. The biggest thing it took me a while to find all the bits to get this to work, but the idea that I've had is, could you compile a small Linux distribution from Windows XP? I don't know if we're even going to get that far because at minimum, we're going to have to build a newer GCC than what Services for Unix has. It has 3.3. Right now, I kind of just want to get it installed and play with it because aside from, I did try to do this on the MacBook. It was glacier. UTM's x86 emulation is just bad. It's the only word I have for it. Also, I am dropping frames like crazy, so I'm wondering if oh yeah, of course it's streaming on the house internet. Of course it is. Like I said, I got Big Bad 5G Business Cube to make internet be less garbage, and internet kind of remains garbage. But if this actually works out, I'll record and stuff. The biggest problem is that doing interesting computing on a MacBook Pro is hard. I got the MacBook Pro to do video editing without the expectation it was going to become my only machine for months on end. And it's actually not Diet Coke. It is a soda from Crete called Fimi. And it is a banana-flavored cola. It is as strange as it sounds, but it's very tasty. So, yeah, that's life in Greece for you. Your cola is banana. We also have Vikos Cola here. And when I first got to Greece, like pretty much anywhere in Europe and like most of the world, I saw Coca-Cola everywhere. It's starting to become less common. Probably because of the sentiments. Wow, I'm already up to 36 viewers. So what is probably going to happen going forward is that I'm not going to do this in a single stream. I think today is we're going to basically feel it out, figure out what this is actually going to get. The next go around is I'm going to have to upgrade. I'm going to have to build a new GCC, which I have no idea if it's even possible. I probably need at least 4. I need something from the 4x tree at minimum if I really don't want to make my life miserable. Ideally, I get something actually recent. So, yeah. And I have no desire to run Linux as my main OS on my MacBook Pro. I specifically bought it for using DaVinci Resolve on it, and it works great for that. It also reminds me that computers used to actually not be like complete crapware. Thank you, Away Unfunu, for the $5 super chat. Canadian dollars even. Those are valuable because, funny enough, I converted a lot of my assets to euros when I made the move, and that was right before the tariffs start going into effect. So just by moving stuff to Europe, I profited, which I find kind of hilarious. I lost a little bit of cash in the market. I had a rainy day fund in stonks, and after a week of Trump doubling down, it's like, okay, you know what? I think it's time to cut my losses. And literally 20 minutes after the sell order went through, he backed out. And it's like, oh, son of a bitch. I like, it wasn't a lot of money, so it's not like I don't put anything in the market I can't afford to lose. But that kind of stung, I'll be honest. I did, in fact, say stonks. I don't know. I'm just kind of in a mood. Honestly, the first month of being here in Greece, it was a lot of what the hell am I doing with my life, given the circumstances that led me to end up here. But it has proven... I still have some lingering concerns because right now I'm kind of in a legal limbo just because of how long the immigration process takes here. But once I actually have that sorted, I'm probably going to sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Albert Einstein. It's really what it just comes down to. Yeah, Greece has been nice. Like, for a large chunk of 23, I was actually up in Canada. And it's like, in some ways, it was better than what life in the US was. In a lot of ways, it's worse. And what it really came down to is, like, what happens south of the line is going to affect Canada a lot more than it's going to affect Europe, or at least that's my thinking. And from what I've been hearing from my friends in Canada, it has just been an absolute shit show over there. At least around Ontario, the Vancouver, British Columbia area is somewhat better, but that's also because Ontario has been dealing with chronic mismanagement for the last 2 decades. Our archive, I am currently in Greece. No, I'm aware of that, but my father came to the United States from Cuba, which meant he essentially had the red carpet. But I grew up hearing all sorts of horror stories, and I suspect part of that was because my father was not particularly happy that I had wanted to leave the United States for when I was younger. But, you know, those sorts of things, it leaves an impression. So, yeah. It's not going to be... it's not a terribly difficult process. It's just a very slow one. Dealing with the fact that the Greek government is quite literally the definition of a Byzantine bureaucracy. It even has the cultural heritage to back that up. Every time I've had to interact with gov.gr, something breaks. Like, I'll give you a real example here. Greece in the last 10 years to crack down on corruption and as part of the austerity measures due to the crisis, they digitized the everything. So, like, if you want to go to a sporting event, you need the gov.gr wallet. And for citizens here, you just use that in your Totavtika, which is the national ID card, and you're good to go. Now, in theory, as a non-citizen, I can use my passport for that. The application broke in 3 different ways. It told me to talk to an agent. The agent told me to talk to another agent, which told me to talk to a third agent. And it's only because of the mercy of the security guard that I was able to go see local sports ball game. Although, I gotta tell you, I don't mind like going to a baseball game in New York. I didn't go very often, but I did go because, well, it's New York. Go Mets. But soccer is actually interesting to watch, and you're not there for 6 hours. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in British Columbia, and I'm well familiar with the NDP, the Conservatives and Liberals. Watching the fortunes of the Canadian Conservative Party has been probably one of the most shocking turns in political history. Like, they were slated to basically destroy the election, partially because Trudeau was hated. And then Trump got elected and Trudeau resigned. And suddenly, Free for Free Canada is predicting that that is going to be a Liberal landslide. Because what it was looking like, it was going to be such a death match that the Conservatives were going to get a majority, and Bloc Québécois was going to be the official opposition because it was going to be such a political bloodbath. So, your party isn't doing well when the Party of Quebec, which has almost no support outside of Quebec, is about to become the official opposition. Yeah, the Greek government runs on interesting properties. This is an actual quote from the previous prime minister that tax fraud is the national pastime of Greece, and there is an actual historical basis for this. I've been learning more about Greek history, not just like the ancient antiquity history. Greece was under Ottoman occupation for almost 400 years, and a large part of the resistance and unlike a lot of the Ottoman Empire, it was under direct rule of Istanbul. It wasn't a semi-autonomous province like most of the Ottomans' holdings were. So there was kind of a culture of screwing it to the man because literally their homelands were being occupied. So this is why tax stuff in Greece has a long and very colorful history. That in 2010, due to the sheer amount of fraud at all levels, like it wasn't government fraud, it wasn't just individual fraud, it was literally all the way down, that when Greece was admitted to the Eurozone, the fraud came due, and the economy, not only did the economy implode, it took basically the entire Eurozone with it, which is why the Great Recession in some ways was a lot worse in Europe than it was in the United States, because the United States was just bad mortgages. This was an economic circle jerk, to put it bluntly. Yeah, I'm aware of that, and last summer, I actually went from Greece to Berlin overland. I have traveled through the Balkans a few times in my travels, and I decided, I should go knock out the rest of them, because there was a few parts of the Balkans I had not visited. So that involved a trip to Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Kosovo. Pristina was a fascinating city to see in person. Into Albania, up into Montenegro, into Serbia, which again proves to be my least favorite country in Europe. Belgrade. I don't have a problem with Serbia itself, but every time I've gone to Belgrade, it really just feels like a pit. I was in Novi Sad for a few days at the train, and I actually did see the train station before it collapsed, about 6 months before it did so. Train from there into Hungary. No, sorry, it was a bus from there from Hungary. And I gotta tell you, there is a real experience when you reach the frontier of the European Union. Because you know that once you cross the Hungarian border, there are no more borders, and it's just the idea of united Europe. Porter Smith, thank you for becoming a Seeker supporter. Hey, Kaloyan Donev, I'm probably butchering that. Sofia was interesting, although I think it's got more casinos in Europe than I have seen anywhere else. I almost felt like when I was walking from the bus station to our accommodations in Sofia, I think I passed 6 casinos. It was kind of obscene. Yes, I did see the Bill Stanch and Clinton in Pristina, and because someone has a sick sense of humor, there's a women clothing store named Hillary's, literally next to it. Someone knew, but the thing that completely got me in Pristina is you're dealing with a place in the world that, shall we say, some laws are not strictly enforced. And to say they are pro-American is very much understating it. I mean, let's be honest. Kosovonian independence happened because of NATO intervention. Like, that's simply a fact. What this boils down to is in Kosovo, there's this... people put American license plates on cars. So the first thing I saw walking out of the bus station in Pristina was an Ontario license plate, because it was obviously close enough. But like one of out of every 4 vehicles just had U.S. license plates. I think I saw New York, Connecticut, Ontario, Quebec. I know I'm saying those as states, but so I should say American-style license plates. I saw a bunch of Illinois, and I saw a bunch of Pennsylvania. So either there's a lot of Americans keeping cars in Kosovo, or the locals just buy American license plates off the internet and put them on their cars. Funny enough, the Netherlands is like the one major country in Western Europe I have not been to. I've done the 100-meter dash through Schiphol, but I've never actually left the airport, so I don't count that. Like, I've been to Brussels, I've been to Germany, I've been to Denmark, haven't been to Norway, been to Finland, haven't been to the Baltics, haven't been to Russia or Belarus, but I've got basically everything else besides that and Italy. Yeah. Albania, Triano was interesting. Like, it definitely was a city that did not have a happy history, but it was probably one of the nicest places in the Balkans that I visited. It was also the only place that we had multiple power outages while there, but such is life. Also had really good pizza. I didn't spend a lot of time in Montenegro. Basically, took the train from Albania to Bar, I believe it is. No, I think it was the bus. No, yeah, it was bus. We didn't take. It wasn't train out of Albania. Then taking the train from Montenegro all the way to Belgrade, crossing the Serbian border at 2 in the morning, which is a wonderful experience I never thought I'd repeat in my life. Well, Albert, the problem is right now I can't leave Greece until I actually have the physical ID card in hand. I cannot leave the national borders. I can't even travel within Schengen. So at the moment, travel is completely off the table unless I want to go to Athens. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not built in on this version. It was built in 7, I think. I've never actually played with it on 7, but I wanted to play with the XP version of it because XP was kind of the sweet spot for this sort of crap. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't spend that much time in Sofia. I would definitely like to do more time in that region of the world. This was basically country hopping to an extreme. But Sofia, Sofia left me with a good impression aside from all the casinos, which it's like it wasn't as bad as Macau. Macau was probably the least happy place I have ever gone to. Because it is a Macau is a fucking floating casino. And my God, I had so many business meetings there, and I don't gamble. Like, I will occasionally play poker, but I think I saw more slot machines in Macau per cubic meter than I've seen in Las Vegas. And at least in Vegas they kind of dole it up. This is just money extraction machines completely undisguised. Version 1 was NT4, version 2 was 2000. Version 3 and 3.5 was for XP, and version 4 was for Windows 7. And Windows 7 theoretically had it on the install disks, but I remember you had to download additional things from Microsoft. I actually had trouble finding the installation ISO for this. I download, like, I have lots of XP stuff, and I thought I had it on my NAS, which is now running again over Ethernet over Powerline, which is hilariously crap. I've never used PoE before, and I didn't appreciate the level of shit it is. So, yeah, no, as soon as I got the desktop up and running, I knew I was going to do it. But getting the desktop up and running proved to be a little bit more of a project than I had anticipated. And I'm still going to be streaming Greek studies and probably some Minecraft. But now that I actually have an Intel-compatible computer that works, I have my Chromebook, but I'm not going to stream off my Chromebook. I can actually at least do some projects that I kind of want to enjoy. Yeah, I think on my... I went for my NAS. I think I have services... Like, I had a lot of XP stuff. But the copy of services for Unix I actually had was a corrupted ISO. So I had to go hunting. I went looking on Microsoft.com, and obviously that was a no-go. So I went to the Internet Archive, and I did find an ISO of 3.5. It took 3 downloads to find an ISO that actually worked. Because I did test this. Because I've had one too many surprises with streams that I don't like testing it. And I'm letting it just do the install because it usually takes a while, like 30 minutes for my stream to hit max concurrence. So it's good to have a little bit of chillax at the beginning. Yeah. The fact of the matter is that the PoE here is topping out at about 20 megabits, if that. Downloading a 1 gigabyte file from my NAS takes about 10 minutes. It really kind of sucks. Yeah. Unfortunately, I no longer have my Itanium hardware. It has found a new home on the west coast of the United States before I buggered off to Europe. It's on an SSD. I don't know why it's taking this slow. At least it should be on the SSD. Why are you... I am actually surprised. I was thinking this. Like, this feels like this is a lot slower than what it should be. No, 40 megabytes CPU. Are the hard drives in spinning rust? Let me look. No, the hard drives are on the main SSD. Although the main SSD is actually a little bit close to full. I think I backed up a lot of files onto this desktop because I didn't know when I was going to see it or the NAS, or if I was ever going to see both of them in the same place again, because stuff has been in storage for a while, and it had already been in storage from Jersey City. Like, it all went into storage in Jersey. I shipped it. Well, I didn't ship it. I actually drove it across all the way to Portland. And as a funny aside for that, when I bought my Prius, I bought amateur radio license plates for it because I figured, what the fuck, it's nice. Those license plates arrived shortly after I sold the car, so I actually do have them. They're in the other. They are in the other room because they were able to go by relatively fast mail from the States due to my forwarding service. So I have a set of completely unused Jersey City amateur radio license plates with my US call sign on them. They are completely useless because I didn't even get a chance to put them on the car, but they're a nice novelty item anyway. Yeah, you're right. It is stuck on T-embedded. Is it... No, hold on. Let me see what it's actually doing. Show status bar. What? Did the build break? Fine. You know what? We'll just... Well, this is off to a great start. Yeah, that's... Alright, let's try this again. So apparently the first hurdle... I literally just installed XP earlier today to test the stream. And I let it use the unintend feature, and it was completely fine. Apparently, I used up all my this is this is the demo gods punishing me. All right, let's try this again. And then let me fix the Streamlabs view because now it is capturing the wrong window. Reset. Let's try this again. Hopefully that was just a one-time fluke. I thought I bumped up the memory. Like, I bumped it up pretty high, which maybe is why it choked. Also, I'm pretty sure this is going to take it out of unintend mode, which I honestly don't care about, but, like, whatever. Now it says it's starting Windows, and it's... One Mississippi, two Mississippi, free Mississippi. What, does it... Did I give it, like, too much memory or something? Like... Or is it unhappy that I gave it too many cores? Like... No, it's got 4 gigabytes of memory, and it's got 6 cores. Oh, no, there it goes. Okay, it's just being really, really slow. I mean, it's also possible the desktop is being kind of grouchy, considering it has literally traveled about 15,000 kilometers in the last year. Desktop computers are not really meant to do that. My NAS is currently running a full scrub right now. No, this should be fine with 4 gigs. I've run XP on machines with more than that. Obviously, it only uses 4. Yeah, it is running very slowly. And I am confused on why it's running so slowly. System settings. Scale factor. It's got 18 megabytes of video storage space. Attached to NAT. Chipset is fine. I don't have 3D acceleration enabled. I'm assuming it's unhappy with the hard drive because the hard drive isn't playing. Like, do I just need to completely nuke it and try again? Oh, well, no, it's still going. I mean, its green light is on. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's going to do a slow format, isn't it? Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, the Macintosh nerd, that was exactly what my reason for doing that was. I do have one machine that theoretically is on the way. It accidentally got left behind, but it actually has more sentimental value than a lot of stuff. And that's a ThinkPad 3DD. Unfortunately, here in Greece, I'm pretty much not going to be able to find... Maybe I probably could find XP era stuff, but that's going to be about the limit. And the honest fact is I don't want to be accumulating a ton of vintage computer crap again. It was such a mental tax to have that much crap that I had to care about. Like, and when I went to offload it, it took a while. Like, I found homes for some of the stuff. Like, my the Spark stuff I had found homes. My RS6000s. And the next station in Titanium... I was very fortunate the place I was staying with was with a vintage computer buff, so he was happy to take those things when it became very suddenly that I was going to US exit. This should be Service Pack 3. Use host IO cache. I probably don't have that set. Nested paging. I don't see that setting set. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't see that setting. Yeah, I'm going to be amazed at if what makes this stream take forever is not the services for Unix part, which I thought was going to be the... I thought installing XP was not going to be the hard part. I literally just decided to do the XP install so we'd have some chill time. It would go for 20 minutes. And instead, it is just... Alright, I'm just going to let it run. We'll see if it blows up. No, this is on my desktop. This is on my desktop computer, Absolution, which is the same one that I've had since I've started this channel. I specifically built this machine to build a YouTube channel. This was my COVID pandemic check, was turned into a desktop computer, and I've incrementally upgraded it over the years. The CPU is still pretty good. The main board probably could use an upgrade at some point, but I'm not really inclined to spend the money. And it's good enough. I probably can get another 1 to 2 years out of it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Macintosh Nerd, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it was hard. Because I wasn't planning on going to Greece. At least not until 6 months ago. My original plan was to move to Portland, Oregon. And then I was basically waiting for stuff to come in, but I was expecting to be in Portland for 1 to 2 years. I had even enrolled at Portland Community College to go back to school. And then things went sideways. I mean, so when it became very evident that the US was not going to be a safe place to, like, I probably would be fine, but I didn't want to live with that. I mean, the first Trump term ended in an attempted coup d'etat, and like, I'm wondering if I'm going to start getting the Trumpers in my chat, which has happened a few times when I bring up politics on a stream. But I haven't tried Greek XP. I kind of want to try Windows 3.1 for Greek. I'm assuming that is a thing that exists because while Greece did not exactly have money in the early 90s. The Greek what is the word? The large community Greeks. There's a lot of Greeks in a place that isn't Greece. So I'm pretty sure there is a version of Windows 3.1 for Greek. I'd actually be really wanting to try out MS-DOS for Greek because I want to see how it does the keyboard entry methods. I think I might cry because I'm assuming it's going to do it terribly. Yeah, I'm running. I am running this on Windows with VirtualBox. I'm thinking. I mean, I'm looking at the CPU usage on the host system. It's only at 30%. Yeah, I kind of want to try it. I'm assuming there's a Greek version of MS-DOS, although there may not be. I know there's a Russian version of DOS built for use in the Soviet Union, of all things. It was right in that little time period where the Soviet Union was trying to democratize and instead collapsed. Right between the period of Berlin Wall come down and Yeltsin on a tank, that 6-month period. Yeah, I think that's one of... I mean, the biggest thing is I want to see how jank it is, because the 9X versions of Windows did not do internationalization particularly well. For languages like French, Spanish, German, where it's mostly a Lang alphabet with a few characters, it's pretty trivial to support that through the code page. but you need to support, for the Greek language, you have 24 letters which do not map one-to-one to the Latin alphabet. You have two cases, and you also have all the accents and ulents. So, like, there was CKS versions of Windows for Chinese, Korean, and Japanese, and those run on Black Magic. And those are bigger markets than Greece was. So I'm really kind of curious to crack that puppy open and take a look and see how bad it actually is. Yeah, I mean, Greece's history of democracy isn't the... I won't say the Greece's history. I mean, let's be honest. The Greek junta is still in living memory. It only went up in smoke and at the end... when did the junta collapse? I think it was in the 70s. So Greece has had periods of dictatorship, and it's not like the previous Hellenic republics were particularly stable. The current iteration is doing pretty well, but Greece did not have a happy 20th century. Let's just put it like that. 1974, yeah. So I mean, it's only been 51 years since the end of the junta. And then before that, you had an almost successful communist revolution. The country was invaded first by Mussolini and then by Hitler. Before that, it was literally collapsed due to the Great Depression. In World War I, it had to be bailed out by the British, which is why the British-Greek relationship was a thing in World War II. And then prior to that, it was dealing with the aftermath of 400 years of occupation. Yeah. Like, I've went and saw the fortresses down at Kalamata. Like, I really come to appreciate a lot of what life is here. It's interesting, to say the least. Like, I feel... I worry that by, I'm going to offend someone inadvertently. Because, it's like, I'm not Greek. It wasn't like I was exactly planning this stage of my life. I was pretty much pantsing it for the last 2 years. Oh yeah, so why is it in emulation mode? I mean, I was able to install guest extensions when I tested it. Oh, you know what? I mean, is hyper... Hold on, let me see here. I thought they completely removed emulation mode, though. Like, hold on, let me mouse over the green turtle. Hold on. Execution engine is native API. Nested paging is inactive. Unrestricted execution. Processor 6 power virtualization interface is none. So yeah, this isn't actually power virtualized. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually fix that. Like, yeah, sorry, I'm going to kill this a second time, but if it's not virtualizing, and it really should be... Acceleration, Hyper-V. Let me make sure Hyper-V is actually turned off. Although I don't think I can turn off Hyper-V entirely. I think if I just set Hyper-V as the back end, it should just work. Question mark. No, yeah, see, it goes into turtle mode. So why is it running that slow? Let me see if I have any anything running in Hyper-V. No, I have all my Hyper-V VMs disabled. Let me see here. Can I shut down the, yeah, hold on. I can stop service. Okay, I just shut down Hyper-V entirely. Let's try that again. Yeah, and no, it still goes into the little turtle mode. I have Hyper-V now completely shut down. All right, hold on. Let me bring up the actual full desktop so you can see what I'm doing. So MS Info. A hypervisor's been detected. What? I'm not running the desktop under a hypervisor. Oh, hold on. I probably have to run this as administrator. Where's admin? Software environment. Hardware resources. I am deeply, deeply confused on what's going on. I think the winning move, though, is I actually decrease the number of cores it's using, because I think that is actually what's slowing it down. So let me go back to services for Unix. System. Processors. Let's just go down to 4. Acceleration. Default. Push button. Yeah, which means I can't get rid of it without restarting. But let's see if it's faster if I just decrease the number of cores. If I don't want to do this in Hyper-V because Hyper-V sucks. I hate running stuff in Hyper-V. Yeah, okay, that actually looks like it's running a lot faster. Well, it was looking promising. Can I show storage settings? Oh, you mean in MS? Yeah, hold on. I'll bring it back up. Let's see if we can figure out why this is running so slow. Because the thing is, I want to do actual compiling in services for Unix, which means I actually want this. I actually care about the speed. Storage, services for Unix. Yeah, thank you, an excellent chef. It's going kind of crappy is what it's going. Alright, let's try changing that. Let's see if we can make it go. Let's see if we can make this go faster. Settings. Yeah, because when I was testing this, I just let it do the default thing, but it made a very small disk image, which was not ideal. What do I want to set this to? I've had problems with doing crap like that. Let me just try it under bus logic and see if it's less miserable. Powering up VM. I think we're just going to have to deal with the fact it's going to be slow. Yeah, I switched to SCSI. Yeah, the problem is I don't want to reboot my desktop. I'd have to shut the entire stream down and then relaunch it. And YouTube gets upset with me when I do that. You know, I'm actually going to turn off all cores. Let me let it run as a single. Actually, let me leave it as 2 cores because I think XP gets stupid if it doesn't see a multi. 4 cores. PAE. Should not matter. We should have nested paging. Chipset shouldn't matter. TPM doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Yeah, because like when I installed guest editions, it did feel very slow to me. Not enough to actually care. I mean, do I try this in Hyper-V? Problem is, I don't think Hyper-V has guest extensions for XP, which kind of makes the whole thing really annoying. You know what, fine, let me cut it down to 2 cores. Let's, like... I'm pretty sure we can registry hack to see more cores than that, but... Unless I load up Server 2003, but... To get Server 2003, I have to get it off the NAS, which means we're going to spend 30 minutes waiting for it to copy. And, okay, yep, there it is. And then let me restart my recording. Chat, like, should I try this in Hyper-V? No, I will not. VMware causes so many problems. Last time I installed VMware, it fucked up both Hyper-V and VirtualBox. Their licensing is obnoxious. And I don't want to give money to Broadcom. Alright, you know what? Let's just try doing this in Hyper-V, because apparently this is going to be so damn glacier, it's just going to suck. Hyper-V. Local computer, which, oh, right, I stopped this service, so let me turn it back on. How do I turn it back on? Actually, I don't think I had Hyper-V completely disabled. Let me completely disable it. Alright, now I have that service stopped. Does VirtualBox give us the fast icon now? Like... No, it's still turtle. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, that was a hard crash. Like, it just went down in flames and then spontaneously rebooted. I really don't want to fuck with Hyper-V because you need Hyper-V for subsystem for Linux to work. And I do use that, like, regularly. So... Let me try push button, hit start. Let me see if this is still, like, horrible. Yeah, that's still horrible. So why don't we see if we can actually do this in Hyper-V. Let's see if it's any faster. So Hyper-V System Manager. And also I need to turn my recording back on. Oh, it is on. Okay. So, new VM, virtual machine, services for Unix, XP. This needs to be a generation 1. You're connected to the LAN. That's fine. Windows XP stuff. ISO, push button, go. Well, that's going to be obnoxiously small. All right, so now while that goes, let me fix, let me see if I can fix my capture status. Why is this not? Okay, good. You know what? Good enough. All right, transform, stretch the screen. Fine. All right, let's see if this is any like actually faster. Create partition, NTFS quick. Wow, that's way faster. Jesus Christ. All right, let me see if I can figure out the guest editions. Like, if we don't have them at all, so guest editions, Hyper-V, Windows XP. Please tell me, so I'm currently looking. Yeah, so there is apparently no, there's no official guest services. I've had a long history of success with Hyper-V, or not Hyper-V, with yeah, that's going a lot faster. All right, so yeah, okay, so you just need an older copy of the VM guest. So, okay, let me just. The problem is, hold on, can I even get onto Discord on this machine? I'm assuming I can. Because someone said they sent me the link for the guest editions. Okay. Yeah, the problem is I'm trying to get onto Discord and it's like not happening. Because getting it onto this machine is... no, I don't want to install an update to Java. Yeah, Discord does not want to load it on my desktop. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, now I have the guest editions on my laptop, which isn't... Now I need to figure out how I get them onto my desktop. Because they're on two completely separate networks at the moment. Oh, wait, I know exactly how I can do it. I have Tailnet set up. So, you know what? I could just... what's that word? Let's see here. Absolution. Hopefully that works. Maybe I can grab it from the desktop because I can't open Discord here. So that's still going. Bash ping infinity weg. Can you? Yes, you can see it. Get, okay, so what was the file name? Hyper-V guest editions. Okay. All right, there we go. So it's copying over. Yep, I got it on this machine now. Thank you, Subsystem for Linux, and I gotta fix that view. Yep, we are waiting for the install wizard to reach the install wizard. Yeah, honestly, you know what's completely killed me is I pay for Nitro for Discord for uploading larger videos for patrons and such. And you know, I'm getting ads in Discord now. Like when I started this channel, I decided to make a Discord server for it. I don't really love centralized social media crap, but IRC also goes suck. And Matrix, I have never seen it work reliably for more than 10 minutes. I mean, I've heard it's gone better, but every time I use Matrix, it's like pulling teeth. I think I'd rather use Slack than Matrix, which gives you an idea of how much I dislike Matrix. Yep. So I'm already, you know, I'm running a Mastodon server mostly for myself and a few other people in my community, and it's just been a giant maintenance headache with like a security vulnerability every 2 weeks. I feel like I feel like Windows Millennium Edition had a better fucking security track record than Mastodon. It's not that it crashes, it loses messages. And I know this for a fact. When I was part of DEF CON 201, we tried it, and only about half the people could see half the messages at any given time. It is unreliable. Its message verification features just do not work. And it is inconsistent in how it doesn't work, so you can't even work around it. I mean, I almost feel like I should just put a fucking Usenet group up because I feel like, for one, I could then access it over amateur radio. Okay, so now we've gone through the hard part of actually getting into the second part of the installer. This should not have been as obnoxious as it was, but hey, you know what? I will take the victory for what it is. Yeah. No, actually, I'm going to leave the toolbar on because I'm going to have to. I am recording this to basically edit into a video. As long as I keep it consistent, I can crop it. I have been having this weird idea of running UUCP over amateur radio, and the only reason this horrible brainworm hasn't been acted on is I don't have a legal license for radio right now. That should hopefully be fixed in the next few weeks, but yeah, I've had this horrible idea. It's like there is, bulletin boards are a thing on amateur radio, but they're basically extinct. So part of me was thinking if I throw a Usenet server up on AppRNet and then glue UUCP to the AX25 to an AX25 interface, why wouldn't that work? The thing is that the main reason I use Discord over like Slack is let's see here, hold on. I need to turn stream footage off for a second. I don't know why, but I'm always paranoid about license keys. So yeah, let me go punch in Mr. License Key. I'm not going to bother with all the crap I need to do to make it activate. Like I've heard that these days you can't even activate it online. You have to call Microsoft, and I'm not convinced that that'll even work like reliably. I don't know why I bothered saying the time zone in the VM. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that it gives you 30 days, and this VM probably isn't going to live 30 days. I might call the activation number and try. Um, I'm pretty sure this product key is valid. It's the product key I put in the folder with the ISO, but that doesn't mean it actually works. Because I had a crap ton of old XP stuff, and I haven't activated XP in a long time. The only time I've played with XP for a video was for pinball, and I just made sure the activation stuff wasn't on screen for it. No, like I'm getting ads of like play this game, join this server. Like it's embedded ads on the left-hand panel that keep coming back. Um okay, so if I call Microsoft on a cell phone, they'll send you a text message to an activation page. Um Let me see if I can just find the activation page. Also, how do I get my... Oh, wow, the mouse is completely broken. It is actually... The mouse is going backwards. I am moving my mouse to the... Alright, if Guest Editions doesn't fix that, I'm in for pain and misery. Or apparently someone has actually reverse engineered the activation keys. Whatever, I just don't care. I'm going to actually step out for a moment, so I'm going to let this install. I'll be back in a moment. I'm not even going to AFK the stream. You can watch the progress bars. And my desktop just... Oh, no. The display link cable I have plugged into it is a little bit iffy. Alright, I'm back. And it's still going. Uh, no, you can delete the executable. It's just I don't want to have to look up how you do it. I don't care enough. I legitimately just do not care enough. So what's our view count currently at? We from our peak of 200 due to the stream taking a dive. Yeah, like this is something I've actually wanted to do for a while. Like when I tried this on the MacBook Pro, it was literally Glacier. It took like 3 hours to install XP and it was barely usable. So I was waiting until I had an Intel compatible system again to actually do this. Okay, we're almost there. Patience is a virtue with this. I forgot how long XP used to take to install. This was the last version that didn't use WIM images, and 2000 was tiny in comparison to XP. Yeah, I've got the out-of-date extensions that should apparently work with XP. I've never tried it, but apparently it does work. We're doing this because VirtualBox was really, really being garbage. Also, I missed a super chat. ALXHR0, thank you for the 12 Polish zloty, I believe is the currency there. I've been to Poland, but I only went once. And Warsaw, I don't know what I expected. I knew that Warsaw didn't have a whole lot of buildings survive World War II, but Warsaw was not a great fun time. Like, it wasn't a bad time, but it was not fun either. Once I can actually leave Greece and travel, I do intend to do a fair bit of seeing the parts of Europe that are much less explored at the very earliest. Also, I just realized the background music did not come back after the reboot. So let me open up VLC because I spent 30 minutes waiting for my media library to copy over to the desktop, and screw it. We're going to have background music even though I can't hear it because I have no speakers plugged into this computer. I would use the Streamlabs one, but the last time I used Streamlabs, I got content ID'd. And let's see here. Hold on, I gotta read your handle. And in Mino, thank you for the 420 super chat. I'm hoping you're having a good green time with that chat. I've been to Georgia plenty of times. In fact, I visited World of Coca-Cola last time. Somehow I've been to Georgia like a dozen times, and I've never actually visited the attraction. I hate to put it that way, but that is how I feel about Atlanta. Well, I mean, if someone wants to contribute 420 and 69 cents, no, I should. I don't know if I should say that because someone might do it, and then I'll be obligated to do something. No, this is the 32-bit version because services for Unix for 64-bit is up on Obtainium. It did exist, but I don't think any copies have survived to the modern era. Oh, the other Georgia. Right, I just did the American thing. I actually really would love to visit Georgia, the country. I'm kind of waiting for the riots to stop happening before I do that. But I actually do have a very old and somewhat busted up Toyota Camry here in Greece that has, I kid you not, only a hair over 140,000 kilometers. So like It's not even 100,000 miles and it's 30 years old. So I've been kind of tempted to take that car on a European road trip. Like, European gas is expensive, but I'm also not that worried about it. So I have actually been thinking that once I can leave Greece, I've always wanted to drive into Asia. And the Bosporus is right over there. I mean, I literally would just have to take it into Turkey over the bridge, and then I'm in Asia. And I can actually knock off driving off a continent off my bucket list. Okay. It's booting. No, I would like to visit that region of the world. It's just I'm kind of waiting for less riots. I haven't actually heard anything about that. Oh, wow, the mouse is completely screwed up. I was hoping that was an installer only thing. It is literally back to front. I go up and the cursor goes down. I go down, the cursor goes up. And now it's going the... Oh, God, that's weird. So left and right work the way you expect it. But if I go up and down, the cursor is back to front. I'm hoping the guest editions will fix that problem. Okay, you know, I'm just going to use the keyboard. No, let's not turn automatic updates on because that's just going to run forever, and I'm not even sure the automatic update servers are running. It's not like this VM is net facing. Also, I need to release the mouse and see here, fit to screen. Yes, my mouse is... My voice is my passport. Verify me. Okay, that was very strange. The microphone completely vanished out of Windows. I removed it, plugged it back in, and it did not detect it for a good 30 seconds. I have that feeling my desktop is suffering from a bad case of jank. I think it's a little unhappy being here in Europe. Yeah, I've never seen that failure mode before. At least the computer didn't suddenly crash. I mean, it is possible the VM grabbed it. I don't know why it would have done that, but let's see if I have a working mouse now. Because that would be kind of nice to have. Alright, so Windows is starting up. So if I hit the maximize button... Oh yeah, the mouse is good now. So I hit the maximize button. And we, really, it's not going to let me do that. Yeah, I can't make it... That's as high as it will go. Fine, good enough. I'll put you back in a window. And then transforms... Let's not stretch the screen because that look real. That's just looking distorted. Yeah, that's... Where's the bottom half of it? There we go. That's actually usable. Oh, right, I have to enable RDP. Okay, so I believe to do that... it's not there. Yeah, alright, let me see if I can... Hold on, I gotta make sure the network, I can connect to it with network settings. Settings... Actually, it should be on the internal bridge, shouldn't it? So, if I just... Okay, this is... Media disconnected. Okay, so you don't even see the flipping network. Because why would you? That would mean that this is actually working as advertised. Cable unplugged. What are you plugged into? Virtual settings. Default switch. There we go. Okay, so can I connect to that from my desktop? That is the million-dollar question. That is 192.26.233.42. Can you even talk to the internet? Alright, so you can ping out. I can't get in. So I think I have to fiddle with the settings a little more. This is why I don't like using Hyper-V for this crap. It basically just worked. Oh, you know why? Because the Wi-Fi is connected. The desktop's connected over Wi-Fi. Yeah, I typed I typed 172. I typed it right. 172.26.233.42. The desktop does not appear to be able to talk to it. And I can't bridge this to my network because the network is actually Wi-Fi because hold on, I can put it onto the services for Linux switch, which I don't think actually helps me. Like, yeah, I don't think that actually helps me. Let me try it though. Maybe, just maybe. Okay, hold on. You don't seem to have done anything. Yeah, and remote desktop connection in 11 is just kind of create a new internal network switch. How the hell do I do that? Hardware acceleration. Like if I put you on default switch, you are connected. I think, don't I have to go into the network? What's it? Isn't it like virtual network hub? That is not what I want. That is not what I want. It's view network connections. What are you actually? Hyper-V Manager. Okay. Oh, I see it. Yeah. Virtual Switch Manager. It has an internal only network already. But yeah, let me make a new one. Let me make it create switch. Internal. Alright, so that's applying change. So the problem is it not? I don't think it's going to get an IP address though. And also it's not showing the new switch. Oh, I just had to close and reopen that window. Alright, okay, so now I go back into Hyper-V. Connected, firewalled. Yeah, the thing is that it's got nothing to get an IP address from. Okay, so let me add a second network adapter because I'm pretty sure I'm going to want, yeah, I'm going to want this to be able to talk to the network. Let me switch the view to desktop. So you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so we go to VM. So we want to shut down because I think I need to add, I need two switches or two Ethernet adapters. Okay. Settings, network adapter, add hardware, network adapter. And the window just closes. Okay, that time it worked. So this one is going to be on default switch. This one will be on internal. Then I go to here. What is unused on? I think I can use like. Okay, that's booting up. Well, I first need to make sure I can talk to the desktop. I can always turn off the firewall. Like I said, it's running in an it's running in a VM. I don't really care. Yes, this is Windows 11 Pro. I was having so many problems with doing video editing and just basic crap under Linux that I gave up and I switched the system back to Windows, which was kind of a bitter pill to do, but so be it. And, okay, so now it sees 2. So local area connection 2 would be use following IP address 10.10.02, and yeah. Please tell me my microphone has not... No, my microphone did not disconnect. Okay, so now we go command prompt. Okay, so it can ping the desktop, so now can we do a remote desktop connection to it? I probably have to turn the firewall off. Great, and now it's not responding. And then it closes. Windows firewall off. Can I ping? I can ping. Did the remote desktop connection setting not get saved? Select remote users. Windows firewall will have to be configured. There should be a password on the account. Like, it's not even getting to the point where it can, change Windows firewall settings. Which I just have it turned off entirely, so, like, whatever. I mean, I can ping it. I set a password in the installer. But it's not even getting that far. It would be giving me... Okay, it says create a password. Fine. Password. No. Alright. Now try it. But yeah, see, it's only saying initiating remote connection. If it was the lack of password, it would say unable to authenticate. It's not even trying to start the connection. Security settings, advanced. Connect from anywhere. We're not using RD gateway. 10.10.02. Okay. Alright, you know, for shits and giggles, can I go the other way? Like, if I were to try and go from here to the desktop. I'm assuming that's not going to work because it's an ancient version of remote desktop connection, but it'd be funny. I can ping the VM from the host. I tried that. Well, it was working. check network. Let's check the network settings on this side. And then you've gone to identifying, which tells me something broke. So you're correct. You're correct. I am deeply confused on why it's unhappy. Yeah, I just noticed that myself. Like, it's apparently gone. I hit F5 and every time it changes, which implies that something bad has happened to my windsock. I changed the VM settings. Like, settings. No, okay, so that apparently fell off the internal network at some point. Let's try that now. And nothing. That's on internal, that's on default switch. Okay. Bueller. So that can ping. You've got IP addresses, and you can reach the outside world. Oh, well, now it can ping. Oh, configuring remote session. That's different than what it was doing before. Because it was not doing, it was saying trying to connect before. Now it's saying configuring remote session, which means it was able to talk to it. Can't communicate, see details, error code. Of course, that's not a useful fucking error code. Yeah, so now it says configuring. If I have it like an invalid IP address, it goes initiating. So now it's talking to it. It just can't actually start the damn session. Which is probably because Windows 11 and XP just don't like each other. Server authentication, experience, reconnect, display, disable the secure connection in the RDP. I don't have a button to disable the secure connection. Experiences, remote desktop settings, credentials. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I mean, I remember having problems with this in the past. Yeah, it goes to configuring, and then it just dies. In the settings app. The settings app on the host or on the desktop? Remote desktop settings. Yeah, there's like nothing useful here. Well, network share will work. The thing is I can do network share with this, because now this should theoretically be able to talk to it over network. Like if I put //1002 Oh, I may not have anything file sharing on it. Yeah, see, it is talking to each other. So they do have network connectivity. 10.10.02. If I go to network, does it see it? Oh, well, hold on. Let me, like, share something first, because file sharing won't be enabled by default. Because I am actually going to care about that. Network connections. Network setup wizard. I have the firewall turned off. Oh, I'm trying to remember where it is. I think... Like, yeah, what? If I shared this... Sharing... Just enable file sharing. Unspecified error. Of course I do. Henrik, you're spamming the chat. Go back to the settings. Expand remote desktop. Oh, okay. Proceed. I'm not even convinced this network connection is actually working. Although, like I said, it went into configuring. Yeah, and it can't connect to remote. I mean, I've used this before, and the thing is, this is the server connecting. This is for clients connecting. This doesn't affect outgoing connections. Yeah, it doesn't affect outgoing connections. I'm not sure how... Hold on. Didn't this version of Windows have ISS? I'm pretty sure I can use that just to test to see if the network is actually working. Add, remove, Windows components. Yeah, I can install ISS. That way I can at least... Also, doesn't ISS have an FTP server in it? Like, I'm pretty sure it does. Desktop. I thought Windows XP supported SMB too. I was fairly certain it did. Oh, you know what? If I can use WebDave, that will work fine. So you know what? Fuck it. ISS is actually going to be fucking useful for once. Because I am going to have to copy files in and out of this VM, and that's going to be a less obnoxious way to do it than, like, 6 other ways I could potentially do it. Oh, it was Vista. Okay, my memory has gone a little bit. It's been a while since I've dealt with old old SMB stuff. Like, I've made my NAS be able to do it, but this isn't going to be able to see the NAS because I can't bridge it to the house Wi-Fi network. It's service pack free. God, that is slow. Yep, there it goes. Installing ISS. I didn't want to use Hyper-V, but VirtualBox was being buggy and chat bugged me over it, so I mean, like, fuck it. It is running a lot faster than it was running in VirtualBox. Yeah, I really don't want to mess with switching because I could easily crash the stream again. So like I said, I'd prefer not to do that if I could avoid it. Plus, all this needs to do is be able to talk with my desktop. I also just installed a bunch of DSM upgrades, so it may have, I didn't know it installed an SMTP service, but, I just installed a bunch of DSM upgrades, so it's quite possible that the Samba fix for SMB1 has gone away. Yeah, QEMU sucks for running Windows. I've never had a good experience with it. And when you're emulating x86 on ARM, it is glacially slow. All right, there we go. So if we now have an IIS, where's the panel for it? I just installed it. Where's the panel? Oh, right. It would be under administrative tools. Yeah, there it is. Internet Information Services. I'm used to the older versions that actually did put it in the start menu. So, default website, ISS help. So, are these two actually able to talk to each other? That appears to be a big fat no. Default website is running. Cannot be reached. Connection reset. So, yeah, that's great. Hyperfall unidentified network. Can you still ping? Yeah, you can still ping across it. You just can't seem to do anything useful with it. Yeah, no, that's the that is the ISS page. Yeah, that's served from ISS. That appears to just be Chrome being complete garbage. Although the fact that I can access it from Hyper-V gives me a hint. Oh right, Telnet's no longer part of the default install. Yeah, it may have slipped that in HTTP. Do I have Firefox installed? I have Tor browser, which doesn't help me. Is Edge I'm assuming Edge is as obnoxious as. So the subsystem for Linux can talk to it, but nothing else. So that tells me that the Hyper-V switch is completely fucky-wucky. I could bridge it to the Wi-Fi. Does does that actually help me? Try the legacy adapter. Well, so it can talk with subsystem for Linux. It just can't talk to anything fucking else. This is the inverse of my usual problem with doing anything with Hyper-V networking. So you're on the default switch. You're on internal. I feel like pushing this button is a bad idea. But fine, if the stream goes down... Yeah, see, that's exactly why I don't want to do that. Yeah, the problem is I just need to... Oh, wait. I know exactly how we can do that. Hold on. I just had brainwave. I just had a brainwave. This is going to be very scuffed, but that is sort of how this stream is turning out to go. So if I just do... Oh, I don't know. Python free... is it HTTP server... I'm going to laugh if this actually works. Cannot be displayed. What is your IP address? You're 71, so let's just see if you can talk to that. Oh, I can't copy. Can I copy and paste? I sort of can copy and paste. This is feeling very scuffed. So you can talk to it on the internal switch. How the hell are you actually... Hold on, how are you actually making that route? You're actually routing through the flipping desktop. So why the hell can the what? Alright, I'm gonna switch it to legacy. Let's just try that and see if that makes problem go away. This was supposed to be a nice, simple stream. What happened? Alright. So, internal network switch go away. Add hardware, legacy network adapter. You connect to internal... You know, I'm going to get rid of both of them. I'll just do two legacies. Top one will go to default switch. You go to internal. That's fine. Start. No, it's completely possible the routing on my desktop is completely scuffed. God knows I've done some ungodly shit on this machine in the past. Like, this does feel like an ARP or a routing error problem, so maybe it is the legacy of garbage. This was really supposed... See, this is the other reason why I wanted to use VirtualBox, because I know VirtualBox Network doesn't do this. VirtualBox Networking just fucking works. Plus, guest editions are still supported. And I am missing an Ethernet adapter. I'm supposed to have 2 Ethernet adapters. Alright, so now they're... Oh, there's the second one. Well, it's also because we're trying to run XP in Hyper-VM because chat kept complaining about me using VirtualBox, and I kind of agreed given how slow it was running. And I'm regretting that decision. Well, it can ping now. Can we do this thing? Oh. That worked. That's the ISS landing page. Yeah, that's the ISS landing page. Okay, that means we have networking. That means we actually have fucking working networking. It was the legacy adapter that was needed. That sucked. Alright, so does this work now? Yeah, that does actually work now. I feel like I need a flipping aspirin for the amount of pain I'm going through right on this moment. Now, I like that I can log in with remote desktop and I don't get booted because Windows 11 will boot me out of the desktop. Okay. So that was completely scuffed, but that worked. Let me fix the stream view. Remote desktop connection. Can you please show, like, all my flipping windows for once? There we go. Now where is it? Because I don't see it. Remote desktop connection. Flipping finally. No, hold on. Fit to screen. Sorry, if I sound a little bitter, it's because this feels way harder than it needed to be. And now, can I tab out without shit breaking? Okay, so now I can't... Now I have a new problem. I have to run this basically full screen. And the resizing is not working. Yeah, this was worth the pain and suffering I went through. If I just capture the full screen stream, I guess that works. Let me stop recording, start recording, because we are now moving on to the next chapter of this incredible odyssey. Ta-da! Actually, I should check that my footage is actually okay. Before we do anything else, because I kind of do want to turn this into a video, so we're just going to do a very brief break just to make sure I am capturing, like, usable footage. Yeah, that's usable. Okay. That's fine. I think I need to take a 5-minute break because this is proving to be a slightly more obnoxious process getting from here to there than it had any right to be. I will be back in 5 minutes. Assuming I can actually put the stream on break, which studio on my laptop decide to go fuck off. So let me unfuck it off. I'm going to take a 5-minute break and recover my marbles, and then we go do the part that should have started 2 hours ago. Okay. I'm back. I'm in my happy place. We're good. It's composed by Kevin McLeod. It's here. I'll switch to a different track. Switch back to desktop view. Bring back the thing. That was way more painful than it had any right to be. And actually, I have to go back into Hyper-V because now we have to do the thing that we started this entire process for and install services for Unix. So I need to go back into Hyper-V settings, and I need to attach the desk. I also really wish I had a second monitor right now. Apparently the thing didn't save. Well, this isn't Greek Windows XP. This is bog standard Windows XP. Did I not push the button that made it save the settings? Cancel. I don't know what I clicked. Okay, I think I changed the disk successfully. Yeah, I did. Okay, that's the right one. Oh. That's just my soul escaping my body. Except, so we actually have to click custom installation here because it doesn't install the everything we need. And if we really want to be cursed, there is an NFS server. You can't have this client and server at the same time, but you can have one or the other. So now it's telling me it's installing GPL crap. That's fine. We want set UID, and we want the file system to be case sensitive. You need to use password and group files. That's fine. Hold on, can I just leave it? Yeah, we just have to leave it blank. And install. Yeah, no, it's only taken us 2 hours to get to the main content. Apparently installing Windows XP was... what's supposed to be a simple process was not. And then it's going to want to reboot the VM. We're not going to use portage. We're going to kind of fly by the seat of our pants on this one. This installs some weird crap. I don't know why it has X11R5 of all things on it. Like, that's 90s crap. I'm assuming it's for compatibility with older versions of services of Unix, but it's still weird. I'm kind of just sitting here slowly losing my soul because this was supposed to be quick, easy, and those are worth 3 lives for the price of 1. This also felt a lot faster in VirtualBox, but I also just don't care at this point. We have come this far. It has the client server libraries. It doesn't have an X server. So if I were to install an old copy of Xming or, I don't know, a Linux machine, it would actually, I could actually display X from it. I just saw Telnet D go by. God, telnetting into this thing. I think I almost want to try that, assuming we can get it to work. It's installing all the time zones. Yeah, so there's all the X11R5 stuff, which means that I could use oh god, that is a curse font. I could use AUX as a display console for maximum cursed efficiency. Yes, that means I could theoretically run CDE on Windows XP. And that is such a terrible idea that I should banish it from my head before it... No, Brain, we are not going to try and compile CDE. Brain? No. You and I, Brain, are going to have a talk. That is a bad idea because CDE's source code is an abomination upon this earth that has so much system-specific crap on it that it will break in like 60 different ways, and then you'll be compelled to fix it. We are not doing CDE. Chat? No, you shouldn't. Internet, yeah, it's not Linux. But CDE's source code is relatively portable, except for the platform-specific bits. The problem is it's a Microsoft libc, which has interesting implications. I'd still have to find a copy of XIs I could actually run. I might have XIs on... I may have Xming on the desktop. I'm not completely sure. I'd have to find a copy of Xming that would run on XP to even try that. Yeah, the first thing we're gonna do is we have to upgrade the compiler. Because if I actually want to cross-compile a Linux kernel, I need a compiler that's a little bit more this decade. I know Unix support was in mainline GCC. I don't know if it's still there. No, I couldn't install IE for Solaris in it. But if I actually wanted to do it, like I said, I'd have to... I'm assuming the linker is LD. I'm really hoping it's LD, or it's something that GCC can actually gork. Yeah, I know GCC 4 supported it. I just don't know where it tops out. If I can get GCC 4, I can build a cross-compiler. Theoretically, I can do it with GCC 3, but it gets painful in a lot of different ways with the older GCCs. 4 made the build system a lot less insane. So ideally, I want GCC 4. No, well, I'm kind of looking at doing Linux from scratch from this. That was kind of the evil brainworm that actually wiggled into my head. The only thing I really need to make that happen is it needs a reasonably not horrible... I basically just need modern GCC, and modern is a very relative term on this one. I just need something... I mean, I could... basically, I need to be able to build a cross-compiler. And while I could theoretically do that with GCC 3.3, I really don't hate my life that much. I'm assuming if I compiled GCC 4... What was the last version that was able to build without C++? I'm assuming it's 4.2. Yeah, I don't know why it's taking that long. Maybe because I turned on case-sensitive file system? Or maybe the CD-ROM is slow? Okay. Dur, dur, dur. So now it's got to reboot. Yeah, it's going to kick me back to desktop. So let's look at the console and wait for it to come back. Yeah, there was a user in our Discord who they decided to try and build Gentoo with O-Fast, and it broke in hilarious and interesting ways, and they didn't seem to understand, despite 10 people telling them, that you shouldn't try building with O-Fast. GCC is a compiler. There were some, but I'm pretty sure they've all gone away. Also, I'm kind of worried the network is now broke because we touched it slightly. Yeah, the network is not... Chat, the network broke. Oh, there we go. Okay, it was just being slow. So services for Linux. We have Telnet. Services for Linux administration. What the hell is in here? We have the NF... Oh, Brain. Brain, why are you having that horrible, horrible idea? I could do diskless Linux from scratch from Windows XP. Oh, and I also love the default encryption key. Username mapping, services, and... Okay, so apparently it's running a Telnet server, which is cursed enough that I kind of want to try that. Do I have... I should have PuTTY on here. Telnet... Connection refused. I'm guessing it's not actually running. Server settings. Console stream sessions. You know what? Let me just see if I can telnet to itself. Or maybe I have to start like the bash prompt or something. I have corn shell and I have seashell. She sells seashells by the seashore. Also, I'm really hoping I can make the font bigger. Yeah, I can. PSAX. Oh god, that's cursed. That is legitimately cursed. Let me make this bigger. Can I... Yeah, I can make the font much bigger. Yeah, so that's PS showing all the processes running on Windows. Because that's not cursed. So is Telnet D just, like, not running? Alright, hold on. Okay, so I do have GCC. It's a very old version of GCC, but I do have it. I do apparently have iNet. It is running. Services for Unix, hold on, ships with 2 different telnet servers. One is an Unix implementation, which is controlled from this file. One is a Windows implementation. By default, all services are disabled. Some differences between standard Unix implementation of sockets, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, I can also turn on FTP, but I really want to see if this telnet server works. Okay, yeah, that feels cursed. That legitimately feels cursed. So now we come over here to Putty. Oh god, the backspace is mapped wrong. Yeah, that's different. Well, if I need to copy and paste long commands, I now have a way to do it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of just processing that. Do we actually have an FTP server? Because if we have an FTP server, I can use that to get files on here, which might make my life a bit easier. We do have an FTP server, so I could probably just run FTP on it. Well, oh god. Well, the thing is that NeoFetch won't recognize this platform. At least I don't think it will be. I don't think I have Bash. I don't, but I could configure it. I could go get it. Actually, hold on. Is this version of... Okay, cool. I do have command line editing, which is nice. Let's see if we can actually build something with this. So one website I actually know that will still work is nethack.org. It will actually work in this version of Internet Explorer. So let's find the download. It is weird seeing this web browser actually doing something. Download source. Download file. Save file. I'm hoping you have gunzip. Okay, good, I do. That is not fast, although that's probably my internet and not actually the VM. Okay, so there, it's on the desktop. So where are we? So if I go to my root directory, how do you map files. Because obviously they have to map somewhere. I'm assuming... I'm pretty sure I know where this maps. So... C... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it maps here. So, if I go to my... Oh, it's... That's a file system. Alright, so if I go to desktop... Right, I don't have tab complete. Zcat, nethack. That is shockingly slow, and I'm not sure if it's services for Unix, if it's the console that's being... It may be the console that is actually that slow. 367. Now, hopefully I can remember how to actually build this. Oh no, it's /setup.sh, hence Unix. And then I should be able to go up to directories. Yeah, and I gotta make file. Which dies because I'm pretty sure this make is garbage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this... I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to build a new copy of Make if I want to build this. Or maybe Make CC GCC. Let's see what chat's saying. Yeah, services for Unix is PostX compliant, although how PostX compliant it is a sort of an open question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this shell... What version of corn shell is this? Oh god, it's 88. It's not even 93. No wonder shit is breaking. Alright. Fine. Do I have FTP? I do have FTP. Oh, good. It actually knows what... I said it. I was about to say, oh, good. It knows what passive mode is, but that was false advertising. Okay. I think Bash and Make are the first two things we actually need to build if we're going to do something useful with this. Yeah, I really would like a shell that is from this... I'd like a shell that is only 20 years old, 30 years old instead of 40 years old. What's the easiest way to do that? If I do Python and HTTP server 192.165.71, because someone said that that was why it wasn't working. Because if I can just do this, it would actually be really, really nice. It's trying to bind. Okay, it did actually bind. Okay, so... Nope, that didn't work. Alright, so now I'm back to the problem of how do I transfer files. I could... No, brain, I don't really want to try and install OpenSSD on this. There's probably an easy and simple way to do this that I somehow... Hold on. Do I... Yeah, I do have MinSys on here. Do you have Python on here? You do have Python. Okay, well that makes life easier. Oh, you're going to be like that, aren't you? Oh, no, there we go. There we go. Okay, that means I can now transfer files in and out. Well, I can transfer files in. Out's a little bit of a question mark. So let's go to desktop. Let's build source. Alright, let's just see if we can build, like, the latest make. Because that would be nice. SMB1 is not installed in the host, and I'd rather not enable it if I don't have to. Okay. Let's also grab Bash. You know, it's stupid, but you know what? Why don't we see if we can build 5.2? I believe that is the most recent. I think it would be hilarious if we could actually successfully build it. I built Bash 5.2 with GCC 2, so I know it will build with the old version of GCC. I'm going to find it very funny if it will. It's not a smart idea, but it will be funny. We're also seeing how awesome Vodafone Greece is right now. Yes, it does still have the shell script to bootstrap it. That being said, the make we have should be theoretically good enough. Configure's pretty good about making testing the make to make sure it is usable, and if not, I can just build an older make and then build a newer one. Vodafone Greece going brrrr. No, this is just how my internet normally is. Like, this is exactly what the speed is. It's complete garbage. The problem here isn't my hookup at the house. The problem is that Greece has a wet string connecting it to the rest of the European backbone. I can't reach anything in North America, which is where GNU.org is, at anything faster than these speeds. No, this is being streamed from the desktop. I've got the laptop sitting next to me here so I can look at the chat. But I only have one screen on the desktop right now because I need a second display link cable. No, it's being streamed from on the home internet because the 5G is just being completely garbage. Sometimes the home internet is completely down, in which case I use the 5G. And sometimes the 5G is completely garbage, and I use the home internet. It's ooga booga networking on this end. Vodafone is an ISP in here as well. It's like how T-Mobile also does ISP stuff in Germany. And yeah, I probably should use a European a mirror, but I don't know what one is off the top of my head. Alright, so go here. Windows XP stuff. Oh, right. Don't you have to restart it so it sees new files? Like, I feel like that's a thing I need to do. Where did I save this to? SFU source. So why don't we just switch that directory so I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Grab make, save. Oh, the lack of tab complete annoys me. I think I'm also going to want gtar. So gunzip. Let's do make first. Oh, that does not work the way I expect it to work. Yeah, I would really like to have bash. No, hold on. That doesn't feel much faster. Okay, well, you know, that probably is faster. All right, so make 4.4. Yeah, so there is a build.sh. Let's see if we can actually configure... where do I want to install this? Op. I'm just trying to think of where I want to actually install all this crap. Because I really want to just put it all in the same prefix, so I don't need to care. You know what? I'm just going to call it LFS because that is what the end goal of this is going to be. Uh-oh. C compiler cannot create executables. That... Why did that fail? Oh. The compiler iced. What the hell did it... That's off to a... That's off to the races. Let me try the build.sh script. Let me see if... Chat, this is an ominous first sign. All right, let's try using an older version of Make. Let's see if we can actually build something. Like, oh, I don't know. Why don't we try 382? I'm assuming that's reasonably. What probably happened is AutoConf gave it something it doesn't understand, and it went down in flames. I'm pretty sure with an older AutoConf script, it will be okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of breathing the copium right now. That's really the only thing that's kind of keeping me going. Let's try older Make. Yeah, that's... See, I did test this. And I was able to build a Hello SeaWorld. Oh. You know, I have a sinking suspicion I actually know what's wrong, and the fuck? Do I have GDB? Oh god, I do actually have GDB. Can I see why it... Okay, so GDB crashed trying to debug the core file. Chat, we've now entered the territory that the debugger has to be debugged. You know, I have a really stupid idea as to what may be going on. I have one of two stupid ideas, and if one of them works, I might actually scream. Okay. So, the reason why I might scream is I'm wondering if it's having a problem because it's over remote desktop. Let me close the remote desktop connection. Or it automatically ended. Like, that shouldn't matter, but, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm like at a, It worked okay in VirtualBox. So it runs fine like that. Yes, this is the GCC it shipped with. And when I tested this under VirtualBox, it did work. I'm going to just reboot the VM, and we're going to see if the magic smoke goes back in. Well, that means that I was, in fact, completely justified doing this in VirtualBox the first time around. Also, I just realized the category on this stream is set to gaming, and I don't care enough to actually fix it. Even if I had a syntax error, it shouldn't be seg faulting. Alright, we have to wait for the network to come up. Do I look like a game to you? I'm just kind of sitting here like, maybe I can make a cross compiler? Do I need to change the background music? I can't hear it because I have no speakers. Also, it did not save my font stuff. Okay. Okay, I did actually have a typo in that file, but again, it shouldn't be crashing due to that. And if it is, we've got bigger problems. Yeah, let's look at the Hyper-V settings, but this is just kind of telling me I should not have done this in Hyper-V. Get VM SFU set VM processor Oh, fuck you. Okay, so hold on. I gotta turn it off. Turn it off. Still turning it off. There we go. Turn it back on. The Nico, I'm actually amazed that you knew what that option is or succeeded. I would have just given up and installed it in VirtualBox. Oh, there's two compatibility settings. What's the other one? Oh, compatibility for older operating systems. Okay, let me turn it off. And the VM failed to stop. And of course, you have to set those with fucking PowerShell. I mean, maybe they're hidden somewhere in the UI, but this is why I really hate the thing with PowerShell, is that all the advanced settings are buried in PowerShell, and you don't even know they exist unless you look at the objects in them. I mean, there are some things about PowerShell that I don't hate, but I really hate having to do administration of Windows through PowerShell. Alright, let's see if it's less horrible. And let me catch up with chat now. I think I find that I have to log in before it's going to let me do this. It's like it's not initializing the network until, yeah, I log in. Okay. Well, I mean, at least tab completion is a thing. All right, let's see if that made problem go away. And if it didn't make problem go away, I am just going to sit here and I'm going to install it in VirtualBox, and we are going to see that it's going to work. Because I did actually test that. Yeah. That didn't fix it. It's not a compatibility issue. It's I'm going to install it in VirtualBox, and I'm pretty sure the problem's going to go away. In fact, I know the problem's going to go away. Okay. VirtualBox. Services for Unix. Boot from CD. This should still be set up to basically, yeah, this should still, now it's running fast. All right, Streamlabs, switch the view. Also, I haven't been recording all this, which, fuck me. I'm right, because I stopped the recording to check it, and I must have not restarted it. Yeah, so all that is only going to be in the VOD. This is. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Hold on, I'm pretty sure I know what did that. Because we were playing around with the settings earlier trying to make it faster. I'm almost certain I know what actually broke that. Yeah, I know you can't see what I'm clicking on. Just bear with me. Yeah, no, it's almost certainly because I changed the disk controller before. So now I have to switch the view back. I should have just done this in VirtualBox to begin with. It would have just worked. As soon as it starts copying files, I'm going to go walk away and take a bit of a break because this is proving to be incredibly irritating. Costas is because I'm always up in the middle of the fucking night. Or most nights. Chat, I'm going to consider if we can build Hello World a success. Like, the standard of success has gone from we should update GCC to if we can build Hello World, it's a success. Okay, it's going to start copying files now. I'm going to go step away from keyboard and take a break while this installs. So. Okay, good. This is actually going. I just came back in the room to say that I'm having a British emergency. I'm out of tea. Alright, the thing is that I know that this will work, assuming it installs this time. So I don't really care that it's slow, I just care that it works. And the fact is, if it's running under its hypervisor and it's the AMD processor that is causing it to seg fault, it running under emulation might actually be better. But yes, I'm having a British emergency. Like, I'm out of tea. And I can't get tea until the morning, and I should also fix and center the window. I'm not going to disable Hyper-V on the host because I'll lose subsystem for Linux, and I'm going to kind of need that. We're just going to deal with the fact that it's slow. It's fine. Patience is a virtue. We're back to VirtualBox because we did get it all working in Hyper-V, and then GCC seg faulted. Like, the compile CC1 crashed. And, that's after setting all the compatibility flags. So the two possibilities is that either Hyper-V is doing something to my compiler that is making it, like, not work, or if... See, VirtualBox doesn't emulate. I know it's got the little turtle on screen, but... Well, the thing is, I have guest editions installed in the Hyper-V, and I might need to go back to it if this doesn't work, so I'd rather just let it install, start from a clean base, know that it's all good. Yes, but I am legitimately sad that I'm out of tea. Like, I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm just staring at my microphone thinking, there was tea in my life and now there isn't. All I have is this banana-flavored soda from Crete. Halt and Catch Fire SEMO, meow. Yeah, that is actually the right mood right now. It's not emulated. It's just VirtualBox does not have an emulator in it. I think its disk UI is just very slow, but I don't think it's... Assuming it doesn't hang again. No, it's still going. It's still going. Yeah, I mean, it is a soda from Crete, and I've never seen it anywhere else in the world. It's very tasty, but I don't associate bananas with Greece. Chrono of Mana, what you missed was pain and suffering. The compiler seg faulted when we tried to run it, and when I ran this under VirtualBox earlier, it was fine. I have it enabled. Yeah, this soda apparently comes from the island of Crete. It's banana flavored. I also think it hung again. I literally tested this off. No, it's still going. It just copied a different file. It's just slow. Very slow. The thing is that once Guest Editions is installed, I noticed it got a lot faster, so I'm assuming... I do believe Guest Editions does install, like, I don't think it installs a VirtIO driver, but it does do a lot of things that makes it less bad. it. Lord, it be installing. Yeah, I mean, last time it did actually hang. Although maybe we just didn't wait long enough, because what I did is I let it install in VirtualBox, and then I went and did something else, and by the time I came back, it had actually finished, but I didn't watch the install when it did that. Maybe I should install Windows Fundamentals for legacy PCs. It might be less painful than this, although I don't even know if you could run Subsystem for Unix on that. Unless it's... Oh god, you know, I just realized what it might be doing. I might have the CD-ROM pointed at my NAS. And if that's the problem, then that's why it's going so slow. Because the NAS is plugged into Ethernet over power line to the router, which is then connected to Wi-Fi. And I've discovered that power line over Ethernet, at least in this house, is atrocious. And to give you an idea of the wiring we're dealing with, when I arrived here in Greece, this house did not have standard Euro plugs. It had the original Stuco-type Greek plugs from the 50s. Those have been replaced, but to give you an idea of what I am working with here. Unfortunately... Oh yeah, you would hear the music. Ethernet over power was how this entire house was wired originally. Like, there's a TV in the living room that has a media center, and it was all hooked up over Ethernet over power. Considering that the main internet connection is very janky VDSL, which drops packets about half the time. Yeah, it sucks. I believe to use before the standard EU plug is so it's got the 2 pins, but it didn't have a grounding port. Something I didn't realize until I tried to plug in my amateur radio gear here. Yeah, it might actually be aluminum wire. It's from the right era to have that. So the way that I'm probably going to have to solve this is I can't easily do new cabling with the way this house is. So I think it's going to be a bunch of modern 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and I'm just going to build a spanning network. I think it's the only way I'm going to have a decent home network. The thing is that Windows 8.1 doesn't run Hyper-V out of the box. Subsystem for Linux runs in Hyper-V version 2. So I either lose Subsystem for Linux, which would make my life suck in other ways, or I just have to deal with Hyper-V being present. Oh, it is copper. Okay. Yeah, but it was the pre-European standard outlets for about 60% of the outlets in this house, which have since been sent to the bin and rewired with standard. With the ground pin is actually connected to something. So that's nice. Yeah, I discovered that one because my there was no grounding when I plugged in my radio, and I mean not antenna grounding. I mean there was no grounding. Period. Just life in the country in Greece. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Although, admittedly, I've actually been tempted. There's a chicken coop on the property, and there's a bunch of birds in it, although a bunch of birds are about to go off to the slaughterhouse. But I've been really tempted that once I get my amateur radio license set up, I want to set a Baofeng, a Pi, and a camera, and then transmit pictures from the bird coop over slow scan television to the house. It's at 70%. Yeah, I mean the problem is that there a lot of the speed optimizations in Windows weren't a whole ton of them are in the Win32 subsystem. They're not actually in the kernel. Like the way the NT architecture works is the kernel has what's known as the native API, and then there's an adapter layer known as client server request SS CSRSS is what it is. I don't remember what the full acronym is. No, I think it's Client Server Request Subsystem is what it is. And that's what implements Win32 on top of the NT kernel. I like WS2 v2 because it just works. I need the system to work first and foremost. I do VHF. I mean, when I was talking to the International Space Station, that wasn't HF. The problem is there's literally nothing to hear here on HF. On VHF. I've listened. There is supposedly a repeater on a mountain that would be at the very edge of what I could reasonably hit with a dipole. I didn't try and key it up, but I do know that it supposedly exists. But I don't have line of sight on it, so it may or may not be usable. I did do some listening on 144.8, and I heard absolutely nothing, which is the European APRS frequency. So you got it working on Hyper-V. It's Yogsloth. The reason is that the compiler seg-faulted. GCC seg-faulted when running under Hyper-V. And I know for a fact that this worked under VirtualBox. I doubt I'd be able to hit Milos Island. I'm pretty far inland. So, yeah, there is supposedly a repeater that is just within my range that I might be able to key up. When I was playing with HF, it was kind of funny. I could hear everything but grease. The problem is that I'm in a hole. I'm in a valley, so I've got tall mountains in all directions, which means that my radio signals basically bounce around in the mountain until they reach escape velocity. So that means I can hear the UK and Russia a lot easier than I can hear any other Greek station, which is hilarious and yet kind of useless. The solution for this is I just need to be on 80 meters and then use a cloud warmer, also known as near vertical skywave, because then it will go up and then it will come back down. So on 80 meters, I should realistically be able to hit. There's apparently one Greek ham. I think it's SV2XO that has a truly redonkulous setup. They have on Rag's page. They were the first person to do Earth communications from Greece a few years ago. They're listed on the SV firsts list. So, I did successfully hear Greek radio facts, weather facts, and I was able to decode it. It was not a great decode, but I was able to decode it. So, if in case of no internet, I can get emergency weather information from the Hellenic equivalent of OSA, OSA, or national, whatever, whoever does the weather reports in the U.S. I'm not in Sparty, but Sparty, I am about that far inland. Like I said, I'm in the Peloponnese. Athens is a several-hour drive from here, and my God, are there tollways on that motorway? One of the projects on my list is to go get an E-Pass because I don't mind paying tolls so much because I'm from New York. Tolls are a fact of life there. But that was a lot of small change that, like, all my little... Like, I had an entire stack of 1 and 2 euro coins, and I just watched them vanish at each successive toll booth, like, every 30 kilometers apart. Well, it's initializing the registry hives. So yeah, potato power is going. Then we have to install guest editions. I think it's an I/O problem, to be perfectly honest. I don't think it's a virtualization problem. Although I could be completely wrong about that. Execution engine, native API, nested pages, inactive, restricted execution, inactive, execution cap, none, power virtualization interface is none. So it's probably because it's well, I mean, it shouldn't need to be power virtualized. This has, I don't know. I'm okay with it as long as it actually works. Okay, it's onto Hive.HiveSys. I could run CPU-Z on it, and we could see how slow it actually is. Very carefully, HTF. The actual story is a little bit more complicated than that. So they built the motorway for the Olympics. What, 10 years ago? It was like a year before the crisis, sort of like how whenever the Olympics come somewhere, the community/country has a bad thing happen to it. Just see Yugoslavia. No, it was on Hive User. It's now on Hive SFT. It will hopefully be faster on the second part of this reboot. Well, Costas, we have fixed that. We had the ground. The rest of the outlets that we replaced are now grounded. Yeah, the CD-ROM, it is completely possible. I have the CD-ROM on the NAS. Like, can I see where it's reading the CD-ROM from? No, it is reading the CD-ROM from this machine. It's on Hive CLS. It's not fast. I really don't want to disable Hyper-V entirely if I can avoid it. Because I might really need subsystem for Linux, and even if I do well, the last time I tried turning off Hyper-V, the system crashed and burned. I'm not using a CD-ROM. It's just very slow. The thing is that VirtualBox works. No, I agree. It shouldn't be this slow, but it is actually working. Hyper-V. And I keep hitting the Windows key instead of the Control key because I've been using Mac for too long. VirtualBox, Windows 11, Turtle. Yeah, I mean, I would have. Yeah, I'd have to. The problem is that it already died once under virtualization. Like, if this is a CPU problem because my AMD Ryzen is a little bit too new for it to actually work, then it's going to be a lot. Then we're going to just have a variation of the same theme running it under VirtualBox. Okay, now it's restarting computer. Yeah, like I'm looking at the instructions to disable Hyper-V, and it's not just this BCD edit it, because a bunch of other crap will, in fact, enable it, besides Subsystem for Linux. Unfortunately, I don't have a RetroThink pad. Like I said, I am going to... The thing is that we could build Linux on this. It will be Glacier, but we could still theoretically do it as long as it works. I will say that this is still faster than running XP on my MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro took about 2.5, 3 hours to install. So this is still an upgrade. The hard drive, I mean, yeah, it is giving me slow HTTP vibes, but I checked the VDI file is chilling on the solid state. I do have a RAID 1, or maybe I made it a RAID 0 in this system. It's also possible something on Absolution has actually quit, just because this machine has had a lot of things working. Okay, so it says it's going to take 39 minutes to complete install. I know that's a hard-coded thing, but I'm actually curious how long this is going to take to install. Hey, Steve Watson. I remember getting Windows 95 on Christmas Day. Like, Windows 95 was a cultural phenomenon when it dropped. I was 7 when that happened. No, it's not done installing. But we, don't worry, Windows XP Professional has you covered. It has integrated CD recording. No, I'm pretty sure this is faster than a Pentium 2 233 megahertz. I'm almost pretty certain that it's faster than that. It's running in unattended mode, so it's not going to show prompts. It's just going to start showing progress bars. Let's see here. Windows Update will provide you with critical software updates and using an ON algorithm that takes 2 months for it to actually install updates. Your computer will be faster and more reliable, and those are other lies told to small children. The biggest thing that made 95 so big is it first had integrated networking support. Like, Windows for Workgroups was around, but it didn't have good dial-up TCP/IP support. And to get that, you needed something like either AOL had its own version of WinSock for Windows 3.1, or you had to use Trumpet WinSock. Yeah, like if you don't miss Explorer until you've actually used it, and in some ways you still miss it because I hate what the modern UI train wreck of modern Windows is. It's still going. I mean, chat, I don't know what else to do. We saw the compiler seg fault. I know for a fact it will run like this. If you had your computer for a while, you have the user state migration tool. I've never actually used that thing. I actually like the 98 and the XP Explorers more than the 95, but the start menu was such a nice innovation. Like, Apple had its own way of doing applications, which it's largely held through even to modern Mac OS X. Although, you know, I almost wonder if running this on my NAS with its Skylake processor might be faster. That is a cursed idea. We were trying to install any version of Make, but we quickly discovered that the compiler couldn't build Hello World, and it fell over with a seg fault. I know for a fact that this works correctly in VirtualBox, so... I mean, it's still going. Very, very slowly. I mean, this is kind of the argument that I probably should go back to running Linux on this desktop, especially because I do my video editing on the MacBook Pro these days more than I do it on this. And I do still have the Linux installed that I had on here. I have there's two SSDs, one for Windows, one for Linux, and the Linux one has been mostly gathering dust. Yeah, so we also had GDB crash for the insult to injury on all of this. Like, I don't even know, like, I legitimately don't know where to go from there. Unless the only thing I could think that might be different is I had it running, I think, on a single processor on my test instance. Yeah, no, classic macOS was hacks all the way down. I'm kind of astounded. I mean, let's be honest. How many times did Apple try to replace the operating system before they just bought Next? And then I get the warning that the video stream is lagging. Not that you can really tell with the stream because it is literally just ... Yeah, this is going to take more than 39 minutes, Microsoft. The thing with Windows is that they've tried to, like, basically hack a lot of .NET crap on top of it. That was kind of the idea with Metro, and then they backed off for Windows 10, and then they went right back to it for Windows 11. Yeah, okay, so the internet is being internet. So we have now been installing for 36 minutes. The problem is that building GCC under this is going to be really terrible. I'm going to fiddle with the Hyper-V situation and see if I can make it less bad, but I'm guessing that's a specific problem with Hyper-V. Because you're not even supposed to be running XP under Hyper-V. That's kind of the problem. I could install Windows 7 instead, which is supported by Hyper-V, and use services for Unix 4. But I don't even know if I can get the download files for that. The reason I can do Services 3.5 is that it was released on CD-ROM, and the CD-ROM has been archived. No, what Microsoft is doing is much more akin to how YouTube has been inchitifying the platform. Wobbly boops in your face at all times. Like, if I open the start menu here on my desktop, well, I reduced the amount of crap, but, you know, it used to be that you could just, like, see applications, but it tries to push Copilot, the store, so forth and so on. And if you ever watch someone who's, like, not technically savvy use it, like, they'll just click that shit. Like, I just use trying to get people to use as many value-add services in the store as is humanly possible. No, I think the problem here is I really do think it's a problem with it running on a Ryzen. I've had weirdness with XP before when I was still running Windows 10 on this, or sorry, I was still running Linux. I suspect there's something with this and a Ryzen processor it doesn't like, but I just had one idea that I'm going to try in Hyper-V and see if it makes the problem go away, and that's just going down to one processor. And if that works, like, I'll be annoyed. Like, it shouldn't matter. There's no reason why the user lane should be affected by that, but we're also dealing with very jank programming, and services for Unix was still in an era when single-core computers were pretty much dominant. I never got the impression that SFU got a lot of use, and there's no doubt updates for it that I don't have. So let me try it with a single core configuration on Hyper-V while this is grinding away, because this is not going anywhere quickly. If I can actually fix it, it will be nice. So let me try that and see if no, that still dies with internal with a segmentation fault. So if I run gcc v hello c, you know what, I'll actually put this on full screen so we can watch something besides very slow progress bar, because I am kind of worried it may have hanged. Maybe we can figure something out. I also noticed that they apparently built... I like how it's in EGS source. I have to turn on... You know what? Let me telnet into it so I have like a non-shitty terminal. That would be amazing for actually debugging this. Like, we went through all the trouble to enable the telnet feature. Why don't we use it? Assuming it works. There we go. I need to fix the backspace key because that will drive me crazy in about 6 seconds. Change settings, keyboard. The backspace key is Control H. Yep, that works. Oh, that's interesting. My home folder is not set. So if I load up the core file... Yeah, see, it says not initialized, and then it makes... You know what, let me see if I can get the core file of GDB. But I'm guessing the feeling is just GDB doesn't actually work that well. Right, so it runs this to generate assembler source code. And that didn't crash. Why didn't that crash? So it crashes when running from GCC? That kind of does imply that that's a task switching problem. So I can invoke it directly and it's fine. Also, I can tell that the stream is buffering. There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, it runs fine as long as I run it directly. It only dies when it starts from GCC, which implies there is a task switching problem. I have no idea why my clock is a minute in the future. How's this going? Oh, the setup has gone. It is progressing. Very slowly, but it is making progress. Alright, let me keep poking at this with a stick and seeing if I can figure out what could possibly be doing this. It's targeting a Pentium and an i386, which was the minimum requirements for XP. But the fact that I can run it... what do I have in terms of debug commands? I'm assuming I don't have strace. I do have truss. That doesn't feel... Truss is from BSD land. So it tries to do a write somewhere and then it kind of shits itself. Yeah, it tries to go to std error. So it does a fork, it does wait PDI, write returned 5. So wait PDI, wait PID, it crashed. It tried to do something in temp. And I did actually end up with assembly code in there. So it does look like it, like, ran. Like, it's almost like it's not actually seg faulting, aside from the fact that I have a core file. Yeah, there's nothing actually useful there. Because that's just a memory dump. I'm currently trying to debug why things are going. Yeah, that's going nice and slow. That is. I think my Sun PCI was actually faster than that in installing XP. Okay. I knew that VME had problems. I mean, I could try. You know, I could. All right, hold on. I hate to kill this off right there, especially because it's going to complain. But can't I tell this to use Hyper-V just to install it quicker? Yeah, power virtualization, Hyper-V, go. And yeah, we still get the tortoise. Oh no, it does say its power virtualization is Hyper-V. I don't think that's going to be any faster though. It does feel like VMS would actually be less bad. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it does kind of feel that way. Like, I don't even know what to do about that, because that's definitely not. I mean, it could be like an actual problem with services for Unix. It's not like there's a lot of information on this around. You know what, let me trust CC1 and see what it is actually doing. It's doing a lot of time calls. Yeah, so it does complete successfully if I invoke it directly. Which doesn't make a fucking lick of sense. Yeah, I can literally just invoke it directly and it runs. This is some deep voodoo shit. Floating point. Okay, it's back. I reset the Wi-Fi connection and it seems to have temporarily fixed it. It's also really crappy Vodafone router is part of the problem. I mean, it could be Spaces is part of it, but I've tried without Spaces. Yeah, no, it still goes down. It still goes down flames. Let me see if there's. You know what? Let's just Google around and see if like anything helps. Internext GCC segfault. I mean, that looks like the error. Crash when DEP is enabled. You know what? That may be actually the problem. Hold on. Data execution policy XP disable. I don't remember how you turn it off. Yeah, you know what? That might actually be the problem. There's no chance I'm going to find that fix, but I could just turn off DEP. How do I turn it off entirely? No, essential windows and programs. Okay, so I have to do it in... no execute, always off. Actually, I have to do a run as administrator. I need... Yeah... Alright, wait, can't I edit that in here? I feel like I can edit that in here. Here it is. No execute. Edit. What's the flag? Always off. Let's see if that fixes it. Well, the thing is that the subsystem for Linux talks to the NT kernel directly. There was apparently a hotfix for this. If this fixes it, it's progress. I just wish my internet was not shitting itself as hard as it is right now. The XP install is still going in VirtualBox, by the way. Right, GCC, hello, C, hello. Holy crap, that fixed it. Holy shit, that actually fixed it. Okay, we have services for Unix actually working. It only took 4 hours. Yeah, you know what? That's gotta be a screenshot. Yeah, that's a screenshot. I would actually like it with the window highlighted. That's a screenshot, and I'm putting that on the YouTube. Holy crap, that actually worked. Okay, I'm actually putting that on a post. It only took... Yeah, it almost took 4 hours to the limit. I'm pretty sure the stream has completely self-destructed at this point. Preview. I'd like to move you, please. There we go. It only took 4 hours. It only took 4 hours, multiple attempts to install and debug XP, and setting an arcade and setting flags in boot.ini before I could get GCC working in services for Unix. I'm going to experiment with it more tonight, but the big project will continue tomorrow. I do want to actually build a thing to make sure the thing can be is actually fucking working, because yeah, why don't we try and actually build a thing? Oh yeah, I can also shut off the virtual box. Yeah, I'm going to shut the stream down here in a bit. The Greek internet is just not having it right now. It really isn't. There's nothing I can do about that. The 5G is actually out entirely. I just tried it. So I am... Alright, let's... I do want to see if we can compile bash. Actually, let's see if we can compile NetHack, because, you know, that may have been why NetHack didn't build. No, okay, that wasn't actually the problem. HTF, you were in the right ballpark. I think I found